first thing of all, I'm just going to get the fangirl out because I
Okay.
remember seeing you. It was January 2004. It was Shinedown Tantric with Three Doors Down.
Okay.
Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And I remember because I had an interview with Three Doors Down, but you were on stage performing 45, and I just stopped in my tracks and was just like, wow, just incredible voice. And then when you came to Tulsa a few years ago, still had that belting voice. I mean, I just have to ask, is that something you worked on? Is it natural? Is it just the passion?
I honest to God, I don't ever remember a time in my life that I didn't want to be a singer. Like I'm a songwriter and a performer, but I mean from like really, really early, I just wanted to sing. So I've never really been trained or anything like that. Like all my teachers are, great records, male and female. And what I've learned over the last decade is that definitely your body is your temple. So when I kind of began my fitness journey about a decade ago, that kind of changed everything too. Because people will talk about, when you go in and you make these records and you're recording these records, sometimes the guys in my band, between Zach and Eric and Barry, I'll be doing a vocal on something and they're like, man, this dude, you just want to bring a shovel into every studio session. And what that means is like, if I'm picking a key of a song that's like really, really high, I have to remember like I got to sing it every night, especially if it's a hit or it's like a song that the audience really loves. But I always think about the fact that once I got my health under control and I really started to lean into that, again, your body is your temple. So the healthier I am, the stronger my voice is.
That makes sense. I myself, you mentioned fitness, and that's especially, I'm in my 50s. We're not going to say that, but I've lost 130 pounds.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Last 2 years, and I have a whole new appreciation for the gym and working out and having that
Yeah.
respect for your body. And it does make a difference into whatever you're passionate about and just that confidence. So totally
Yeah,
get
I mean, in the simplest way put too, I think about it like this. I've got some lifelong friends of mine, in my fitness journey because like from 2010 to 2011, that was kind of the apex for everything for me. And in that year, I lost 70 pounds. And so inside of that year though too, I also like learned how to eat right. I learned, everything in moderation too. The biggest thing that I learned is once I got my weight where I wanted it and I was what I considered healthy, because I never really got on a scale. I would always just kind of look in the mirror or what have you. But the idea of everything in moderation is a big deal because it's like, listen, if you want a cheeseburger, have a cheeseburger. Just don't have it every single day of the week,
right. Right.
and so that was kind of the other thing too, was just learning how to eat right. The exercise is important, obviously, but you got to give yourself a little grace every once in a while.
Yes, that's what I learned. I didn't do a workout one morning and I was depressed all day. And I'm like, you know what? You have rest days for a reason.
Yeah,
Recognize them and appreciate them.
you can't be mad about like the days. And also too, we get busy in this very intense world we're in. You have to just make time for the workouts and what have you, but there's some days that you just can't get to it, but you don't need to beat yourself up. You just, I'll get it tomorrow.
I know you've been very busy. You're in the studio, right? On top of you just released two new songs,
Yep.
365. I mean, how are you juggling all this? Because you're getting ready for a tour.
I'll be honest with you, Tabitha, I'm ready for it. Like I don't really have an off switch in a lot of ways. I have to remind myself that um it is a band, and I mean that wholeheartedly. There's a lot of moving parts to this machine that we call Shinedown, but we've kind of like we started last year thinking about what is the next like 3 years look like, the next 5 years look like. One of the goals is that we had a bit of an issue kind of locking in international touring over the last 2 years. and we have a lot of fans that have been waiting on us from that aspect. So like next year, our goal is to play all 7 continents in 2026. Obviously these first run of shows that we're doing in North America are a big deal for us. The album should be coming out roughly late July, early August. But we wanted to get these 2 songs out because that's kind of the launch pad in a way to, what we're getting ready to do next. But you just kind of juggle it. One of the things is that in Shinedown, we're very lucky that one of our brothers and our band members is a gentleman by the name of Eric Bass, who actually has his very first solo record coming out February 28th, which we're super, super pumped about. But Eric, for people that may not know this about him, who's the bass player in the band, he's way more than a bass player. The last 2 records and this record that we're working on right now, he's been the sole engineer, mixer, and producer of those records. So having a band member that is really a savant in a lot of ways, we're very lucky in that way. So we can kind of articulate and carve out the schedule the way we need it to be done. But we're able to do a lot of things in-house. So
Right.
and we have to kind of put circle the dates, and you've got deadlines and when you got to meet things and all that, but we just navigate it to the best of our ability.
I know you're good friends with Jelly Roll, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
I just
I'm
saw
gonna
him.
say,
Me and Zach were just with him at the Rose Bowl. We did he put on an event for all the firefighters and the first responders, and we had a great time.
now, do you guys talk about um, crossing radio formats? Because Shinedown and Jelly Roll both have been able
Yeah.
to do what so many musicians and bands haven't done. And that's, whether it's hot AC, top 40, rock. I mean, you guys have owned it.
Um, listen, I met him in 2021 at Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and kind of instantaneously I just understood what he was doing and what was potentially in front of him. Um, and I'll tell you one thing about Jelly. You know what Jelly Roll is? Jelly Roll, he is necessary. I love watching this man's rise and how important he is to not only he's just a incredible individual. He's way more than just a musician and a songwriter. He's been working his entire life to get to where he is right now, and he's just a really special individual. But like when we brought him out on tour in 2022, and it's funny too because all of us in the band, I went to everybody and said, I want this guy to open up for us this summer. And this was in 2022, because if we don't get him now, we're never going to get this opportunity, because this dude's on a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just became friends, but we would talk about that. We would talk about music and the power of terrestrial radio. We all understand, like, how there's 140,000 songs uploaded a day and streaming and everything else. But listen, like, if you want your music out there, then streaming can do that for you. If you want a career, radio is that, especially in North America. Radio built this band, and me and Jelly would talk about that on the side of the stage every night. And just as he was moving into country music and all that, he was also, I said, listen, man, you got songs on the rock format, you got songs in country, go after pop radio if it makes sense, go after hot AC radio if it makes sense. Like, there's no reason to be handcuffed. I mean, I think now too, people are much more open with an artist being able to be versatile. Like, we're very lucky that our audience has always allowed us to be ourselves. We've crossed formats before, with the song Second Chance back in 2009. And then, recently did it with A Symptom of Being Human, which you gave an immense amount of support. And, I know that out of the gate on Top 40, like 365, you have been the station on Top 40 out of the gate. And, that means the world to us, because, Shinedown is a rock band, yeah, but that's not all the band is. And I've never really wanted the band to be pigeonholed in that way, because rock and roll really is a spirit. It's a way of life to a lot of people. It's an attitude. So I think that all we've ever wanted the opportunity to do is be able to grow the audience.
Right, right. And
And
that's
that's
what
what me and
music
Jelly
is
would
music.
that's what me and Jelly talked about, was just about, like, broadening your audience.
We're looking forward to your tour. I know I'm going to plan on seeing you in Lexington. I believe that's May 2nd.
Yeah.
And then August 28th, you'll be at Fort Worth, Texas, too.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this year and next year has in store for you. So you take it easy, get some rest, take advantage of those rest days. So.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Tabitha.